Do you ever wish that you knew how to win scholarships, avoid scams, and make the application process so much easier? Then keep on watching. I get so many comments and emails from students and parents alike asking me how do we win scholarships. And it got to the point where I was repeating the same information over and over again. So I decided to make this YouTube video. Scholarships may seem overwhelming or impossible, but I promise you, you can win them. So whether you're a high school senior, current college student, or a parent helping out their child, winning scholarships is possible. You just need to learn how, and that's what we're going to talk about in this video. And if you stick around to the end of this video, I'll share with you some surprising facts that most people overlook about scholarships, which can cost them thousands of dollars in the end. Let's break this process down into 3 simple steps: where to find scholarships, how to create a system to apply for multiple scholarships without losing your mind, insider tips on writing essays that catch judges' eyes, and we'll also add some surprising facts at the end. So pull out your notes and let's get started. Now you may be wondering, how do I even know how to win scholarships? Well, it's because I personally won $1 million in scholarships to go to college. I earned $30,000 from my internships while I was in college and was able to buy my first house when I graduated. My name is Nia, your college cash coach, and I teach students how to earn cash for, during, and after college so they can graduate debt-free while building wealth. If that sounds like something you want to achieve or learn more about, then be sure to hit the subscribe button and like this video. The first topic to talk about is how to find scholarships. It's important to note what a scholarship is. Basically, free money that you don't have to pay back from a private institution. While a grant is also free money that you don't have to pay back, but it's usually more from a public servicing institution like the government or your state. Let's start with why scholarships are so important. Well, like I said, it's free money for college. And surprisingly enough, the average student graduates with around $30,000 in student loan debt. And it may be hard for you to conceptualize how much $30,000 is, but trust me, that is a lot. I said I earned over $30,000 from internships while I was in college. Now imagining me having to pay everything that I've earned from all 4 years worth of my internships just when I graduated. That's insane. And scholarships are something you definitely need to take advantage of. And a lot of people don't apply because they feel like they won't win, they won't qualify, it's too much work, they're not good essay writers. There's so many barriers that people make up in their head, and we're gonna crush all of those because you can. And the fact that literally over $100 million of scholarships goes wasted every year. Yes, wasted. And if you don't believe me, I will definitely be sure to link some articles down below so you can see for yourself. It's insane. So we're gonna stop wasting money and we're gonna make sure that you get it for school. Now let's start with where to find scholarships. Most people will just search up scholarships on Google, and while it is something you can do, you're gonna get way too many results, it's gonna be too overwhelming and you're going to quit. But I love these websites, School.org, Scholly, Scholist app, which is actually founded by someone that I know personally, so I think that's a great one that you should check out. There's an app called MLS or Moz. You can actually do it on your phone and it helps you to be able to apply to scholarships on the go, and scholarships.com. So I would check out those 5 websites to start. These platforms all allow you to create your own profile for free, and you can get matched with scholarships based upon your background, your major, year, and interest. These scholarship websites are updated daily, so if you want to make sure that you're getting maximum value, you need to be checking it on a weekly basis. Daily would be great. Like, daily would be amazing, but let's be honest, 85.7% of the people watching this video are not going to take that advice. So don't even set yourself up for failure. Set a time on your calendar to check it weekly, whether it be every Thursday, every Tuesday night, after class, every Friday morning, something that you can keep up with and is sustainable for you. Create a reminder on your phone. Put sticky notes up so you don't forget. You can check back in and see what new scholarship opportunities are available. If you're looking online for scholarships, watch out for scams. People are very malicious and they will try and take your money. And that is the last thing we want to do. We're looking for money for school, not trying to lose the money we already have. So how to know if a scholarship is a scam? You should not have to pay for anything. So if there's an application fee associated with the scholarship, avoid those. And if you get an email that says that you won a scholarship that you didn't apply to, chances are that's a scam, because if you never applied, you surely didn't win. Also, scholarships are not guaranteed. So if you're applying for a scholarship and it says 100% guaranteed that you'll win, just give us your information and we'll send you a scholarship. No, these scholarships are not guaranteed. No one can guarantee you that they're going to pay for your college. And if you want more information on how to avoid scholarship scams, I'll be sure to leave an article down below that's actually from the FTC to help you spot and avoid these scams. Because y'all, I pray that you do not get got, and I do not want to see that happen to you. In addition to online scholarship search engines, check out your local organizations, banks, law firms, fraternities, sororities. All of these organizations tend to offer scholarships. Now, this is where you can go on Google, and you can type in the specific sorority that you're interested in and put scholarship behind it. Like for example, I applied to the Delta Sigma Theta Scholarship, Alpha Kappa Alpha, Omega Psi Phi. They all have scholarships and I applied to them. Now I didn't win all of them, unfortunately, but I did win some. And these type of local scholarship applications tend to have fewer applicants. That means that you have a higher chance of winning. So take the Gates Scholarship. So that's Bill and Melinda Gates, what it formerly used to be called. That one has 20,000 applications and I think 200 people win. So you're looking at a 1% chance of winning. And that's the one that I won. Versus a smaller Delta Sigma Theta Scholarship, which say has 20 people who apply and 5 people win. So you have a 25% chance of winning. And it's not like you have to have the highest GPA or be in all the sports to be able to win these scholarships. As long as your background matches scholarship requirements, you can still win. And don't be afraid to use social media to find scholarships. I love using Instagram and TikTok to help find scholarships for students. So I highly suggest following me, College Cash Coach on Instagram. There is also Girls on Campus, Scholars Apps also on Instagram. And I have a few other Instagram pages who I really like that I'll try and leave down below for you to follow to help you find scholarships, because these people have weekly scholarship email lists that you can sign up for, or they post scholarships on their accounts daily. And I wrote a book documenting how I won $1 million in scholarships and was able to start earning money in college that you can download as well. And I think because I like y'all and I want y'all to succeed, I might put one chapter up for free that you can sign up for in the description box down below. And it talks about how to explore scholarship opportunities. I list a lot more websites, a lot more Instagram pages, and some specific Google search terms that you can use to find scholarships. So I think I might do that. And if you would like to learn more about scholarships in any way, please leave me a comment down below. And if you know what college you want to go to, ask your school's financial aid office for scholarships that they offer. Now, a lot of times if you're a high school senior applying for a college, you're automatically considered for scholarships to attend that school. But if you are currently enrolled, literally go to your financial aid office and ask. Go to their website and look up, because a lot of people don't know that their school offers these scholarships. Like I helped a student who's going to Georgia State, and she didn't know that Georgia State has a whole website specifically to help out Georgia State students find scholarships. And I told her about the website and I helped her look for some, and she won a $5,000 scholarship. She wouldn't have done that if she didn't know to look there. So check out your school's financial aid office. Professional organizations, like there's the National Society of Black Engineers, there's the Society of Women Engineers, there's chemical societies, there's cooking class societies, there's literally a society for everything. So think about the profession that you want to go in and see if they have an organization that also offers scholarships. And one last thing about finding scholarships, don't forget to look at your own life and see what you're interested in. For example, if you like to eat Chick-fil-A, Chick-fil-A has a scholarship. You like to wear Nike shoes, Nike has a scholarship. If your parents work at Amazon, Amazon has a scholarship. So just make a list. I like to call it a mind map, and I'll add a little screenshot of what I'm talking about. And it's just putting your name down in the middle and then asking yourself questions. Where do you like to eat? What do you like to do? Where do you like to shop? Because a lot of these organizations that you already patronize are offering scholarships to help students, but you won't know if you don't look. So just look at yourself, look at your parents' employers, because a lot of employers do offer scholarships. And you can ask your parents or guardians or any family members, honestly, do you know if your employer offers any scholarships? And if they don't, maybe they're willing to start, but you don't know unless you ask. I feel like if you don't take anything away from this video, is you have to advocate for yourself. You have to ask the question, you have to make the application, and I promise you, applying to scholarships is not only going to help you pay for school, it's also going to help to develop a lot of those life skills of how do you advocate for yourself? How do you ask a question professionally? How do you follow up with people? So applying for scholarships is helpful, not only in the short run, but also in the long term. Okay, so you found some scholarships. How do you create a winning application system so that you can stay organized? And trust me, I get it. I cannot emphasize to you enough how important it is to stay organized when you are applying to your scholarships, because deadlines are a real thing. And unless you want to receive an email like this one, I suggest that you keep up to date with your scholarships. And for a little context, that was the scholarship that I was a finalist in. It was $20,000. All I had to do was upload a headshot, and I forgot. I kept procrastinating. The deadline was 11:59 p.m. on a Friday. It was Monday morning at 8 a.m. and I sent an email to the organization asking if I could still submit my headshot, and they said no, it was too late. And you can imagine my little heart losing $20,000. Now, God is good and I still got the money for college, but imagine if someone gave you $20,000 and said all you need to do is submit stuff on time, I promise you, you probably would submit that headshot on time. Now here's how to set yourself up for success. First is set up a scholarship tracker. I have one in my book, like I mentioned earlier, called Fund Your Future. Again, that link will be down below if you're interested in a download. But if you don't want to, then you can easily go to Google Sheets, create a couple columns that with the name, the amount, the deadline, and if you applied or not. It's really that simple for you to keep track of what you've applied to, who you need to follow up with, and whether you won the scholarship or not. Because a lot of times scholarship acceptances can literally be sitting in your junk mail, but if you're not checking your email, then you won't know. And I'll be honest, for like 16 to 22-year-olds, checking your email is usually not top of mind. It's usually text messages or social media, but that's not how these organizations are going to communicate to you. So it's important that you have an email, first off, that's separated from your daily email where you get a bunch of junk mail, and you can check that one specifically for scholarships. So literally I tell students, make this email first name, last name, scholarships@gmail.com, or just first name, last name @gmail.com. Something that's still professional for you to apply to. Next, set up reminders. Put reminders all over the place, on your phone, on your laptop, physical notebook if you like to physically plan. Put up sticky notes all over the place. Tell a parent or a sibling, hey, make sure that I apply to this scholarship by the 30th. And here's what I suggest. Most scholarships have a deadline of either the 1st, the 15th, or the 30th of the month. So try and get your application in at least a week before the deadline, because something's always going to come up where at the very last minute, and you don't want to be a part of that. You don't want any excuses. You want that application in. Like, just think about me and how I lost $20,000 for not submitting a headshot. I mean, that's insane. Like, I literally did the essays, I did the interviews, I did everything. All I had to do was upload a headshot. I promise you, I would have uploaded a headshot like that if I would have had my application in a week before the deadline. Next, create a scholarship folder. Keep all of your essays, your recommendation letters, your transcripts, anything that you would need in this folder. So whenever you have to apply to your scholarship, it's just a grab and go. You don't have to go looking for a scholarship recommendation letter from Miss Jones that you got 3 months ago. Just keep it all in one place. And the good thing is, because you created a new scholarships only email, preferably on Google, that's what I would use. Google Drive, you have access to 15 gigabytes of storage space, and this is where you can keep all of your documents that you need to apply, and just, you know, call it recommendation letters or scholarship applications, whatever you need to do to stay organized, and you have a specific dedicated place to keep everything. And you'll find that many scholarships ask for a lot of the same information. So if you have one place to put everything, you can always just revisit it. And the good thing about Google Drive, you can use it and access it on any device. So if you're on your phone one day, laptop another, iPad on the next, you can access it from anywhere. So no excuses. Just eliminate any barriers that may come up. And you may notice I have that book, Atomic Habits, up there on my shelf. And this is one of the things that they talk about. Just eliminate any pieces of excuse. Next thing is to apply early and apply often. Like I said, deadlines sneak up on you. So try to have everything in for your scholarship application at least a week before the deadline, and apply to scholarships as often as you can. They say that an apple a day keeps the doctor away. I like to say a scholarship a day keeps debt away. So if you can apply to a scholarship at least every day, that would be great. Now I know that might be unsustainable if you're in school, you have a lot of other obligations, and that's okay. Try and do 5 a week, 3 a week, do something that you can keep up with. And scholarships are available all year round. I said the 1st, the 15th, and the 30th of the month are usually when scholarship applications are due, but of course there's exceptions. They can be due at any date, at any time. Now, a lot of the big scholarships, like the Gates Scholarship, the I-1, Coca-Cola Scholarship, a lot of those for high school seniors specifically have deadlines that start in the fall, so September, October. And if you're a high school senior, the fall is the time that you need to be literally running to apply to these scholarships, because that's when a lot of the big ones are, and I highly suggest you get them. But if you're not watching this in the fall, or you're not a high school senior, that's okay, because literally the scholarships all year round. In the spring, in the winter, in the fall, in the summer, like all year round, you need to be applying. Now for the essay, this is definitely one of the most critical parts of your application, and it can definitely make or break your whole scholarship experience. So here are some steps to writing a winning scholarship essay. First and foremost, read and understand the prompt. Now that may sound very simplistic, and I'm not trying to be funny when I say this to you. A lot of times when you're writing, you may start on topic and then start talking about something completely different. So for example, one of my scholarships that I applied to with the Gates Scholarship, one of the prompts was, in 20 years, how do you envision yourself creating impact in your community and the world? Now, if I was talking about how I am a leader or my academic and career goals, like all that stuff is great. But am I answering that question, in 20 years, how am I going to impact my community and the world? Now, me being a leader and my career goal can help to influence how I'm going to impact the world in 20 years. But if I don't answer that question specifically and clearly, then I'm going way off prompt, and I'm probably not going to win that scholarship. So that's why I say it's very important to make sure that you're answering the question, and even when you're writing, at each paragraph, just go back to that question. Is this helping to answer what they are asking me for? And make sure to research the organization that you're applying to, and include some of their mission and values inside of your essay. So if the Gates Scholarship, for example, really cares about integrity, work ethic, then I'm going to make sure that I include that in my essay. So when I was answering what I want to do in 20 years and how I'm going to impact the world, I could talk about how my integrity of being an engineer is going to help amplify the impact that I'm going to have on the world. I'm going to instill my work ethic that I have developed since a young child to develop some new app, whatever it is and whatever your story is. Make sure that you can include some of their values. So if you're talking about a water conservatory scholarship, then talk about water conservation. Like, don't talk about how I take long luxury showers. Even if you may talk about that and that really helps with self-care and self-development, maybe don't include that inside of your scholarship essay. What I'm saying is you have to be strategic in making sure that you are tailoring your essay to answer that organization's questions, and make sure that you're standing out, because a lot of times before you even get to the interview stage, you have to go from the essay. So the essay is how these scholarship readers are going to be able to analyze your character. So use these essays as a time to really share who you are. You don't have to be robotic, you don't have to be very sterile, but you should show who you are yourself. Of course, respectfully, professionally, in a way that makes it seem like the judges can be like, okay, we like this student. I think this student should get $50,000, and this is why. Tell your unique story. These scholarship judges are reading hundreds, if not thousands, of scholarship essays, so this is your time to shine. A lot of students write what they feel like judges want to hear, or what they should be writing about, like their grades or their school performance. But in reality, what makes your scholarship essay stand out is your personal story. So if you immigrated, or if you were really good at a sport or had a physical challenge or learning disability, or maybe you didn't have anything that drastic and you just grew up with siblings and it made you feel some type of way being the middle child, you need to share this story in your essay because that makes you stand out. And I actually read somewhere that the winning essays of many of these really big scholarships, the one thing that the judges attributed to their winning was their authenticity. Now, of course, authenticity is up to you to interpret, because that doesn't mean you have to spill your whole life story and all your life traumas, especially if you don't want to relive them, which I completely understand. You do not have to, but tell a story. You know, just like in any good movie, why do we like Batman and Robin? Because they're defeating the Joker. And the Joker, which is a great movie, completely off topic, it really tells you who the Joker is, why he is the way he is, and how he is today. You need to be able to elicit that same storyline in your essays. So think about your favorite movie, your favorite book, your favorite YouTuber. Who do you like to watch, and why do you like to watch them? It's because I'm telling you a story. Even in this video, I'm telling you how to get from point A to point Z. So you have to be able to bring the reader along. Be specific and use examples in your essays. And so instead of saying, I'm a hard worker and I have integrity, instead say, I balance 2 jobs, working 25 hours a week while maintaining a 3.9 GPA and taking care of my younger siblings on the weekends. Be specific because that makes you more memorable and it helps you stand out. And make sure you avoid common pitfalls like cliches and repetition. So instead of, I want to change the world, which, remember, that's one of the prompts that the Gates Scholarship asked me about. In 20 years, how do you plan to impact the community? Instead of just, I want to change the world and make it a better place, be specific. How do you plan to impact the world? I want to be a chemical engineer and develop life-changing technology utilizing CRISPR DNA, blah, 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 blah. Like, go into detail and talk about what it is you want to do. And then repetition. Your essay is not a place for you to just copy and paste what's on your resume. And again, that kind of goes back to students writing about what they feel the judges want to hear instead of writing about their actual authentic stories. Now, of course, what's on your resume should be fed into your essay if you can. Say you were president of some organization. Well, that probably stems from how you are a leader at your house or how you can be a leader in your job. And that does feed into what some of the things you had on your resume is. But don't just copy and paste word for word in your essay. And the last thing to do when it comes to writing a stellar standout essay is to edit and revise. So once you're done writing your essay, take a break. Like, don't just continue to stare at the screen, because your eyes will play games on you and you'll start to miss words that don't make any sense or are completely misspelled. Use it to like Grammarly to make sure that things are grammatically correct. And then give your essay to someone you trust, like an English teacher or a professor, or even if you have a family member who you know is a good writer and you trust their opinion, have them read your essay. Make sure that the story structure makes sense. Are you using the correct words? And don't just use like ChatGPT or any type of AI tool, because these scholarship judges, they're getting savvy with y'all's applications. So they do have AI technology, like, what is it, Turnitin.com, which is for school. There's something similar for these scholarship judges. So don't just copy and paste what you get from AI. And a lot of times AI sounds like AI. It doesn't sound very authentic. Now, there's nothing wrong with using it for inspiration or looking at, you know, winning scholarship essays, but don't just copy and paste it. And if you're stuck on where to start writing your essays and how to get ideas, then just open your notes app and use talk to text. Like, that's what helped me write my book, is just thinking out loud and getting your ideas and thoughts out onto paper, because when you start, that's when you get into a flow. So open up your notes app, press the little microphone button, and just start talking, because a lot of times it's easier to talk than it is to write. And after all this, if you're still like, I hate essays, I don't even want to try, I can't even get started, that's no excuse, because there are video essays that you can apply to, and essentially using the same methods that I talked about on how to write a stellar essay is how you can create a stellar video. So if it's easier for you to talk to a camera, then there are many scholarships out there that only require video applications. I know the Taco Bell scholarship is one off the top of my head that you can apply to. So still no excuses. And even when you are making your video scholarship telling a story is definitely the top thing that needs to be accomplished in your video. And make sure you're reading and understanding not only the prompt but also the rules for video scholarship applications, because a lot of times that fine print that we just skip through has very important rules that you need to follow. Like, for example, I know a lot of those video applications, you can't wear any branded paraphernalia. So for example, if you have a shirt with the Nike check mark, you're automatically disqualified. Or if you have like a baseball cap with a certain team name, automatically disqualified. So make sure that you're actually reading and following the instructions. And time limits, same with word count limits. If the word count is 500 words, you're at 525, a lot of times you're automatically disqualified. If your video is 2 minutes and 45 seconds when it should have been 2 minutes, automatically disqualified. So make sure that you're following the limits. If you're still here after all the information, then you're obviously finding this valuable. So go ahead and give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. But before we wrap up, as promised, I'm going to give you 3 common mistakes that you should avoid if you want to win scholarships and not lose thousands of dollars. So to recap, we've talked about where to find scholarships, how to create a winning scholarship system, and how to write standout essays. The first common mistake that I see students making when applying to scholarships is not upcycling your essays. And I did use the word upcycle instead of recycle because you don't want to just reuse word for word your old essays when applying to these different scholarship organizations. You want to customize and tweak things here and there, but you don't want to start over completely from scratch because that's a waste of time and you're not going to be able to apply for a scholarship every day if you're doing that. There are 3 prompts that scholarship organizations mainly focus on. 1, your struggle to success essay, which is really just your life story, overcoming obstacles no matter how big or how small. And again, you don't have to trauma dump here if you do not want to. 2, making an impact. What is it that you have done? What is it that you want to do? And 3, your career goals. Basically, what is the scholarship money for and what are you going to do with it? Second mistake I see students making is not being honest. And this may sound so simple, but if you do not have a 3.5 GPA, say you have a 3.3, be honest about that because the scholarship organization will check. They will pull your transcripts. If you say that you are a president of organization AB and you put down your recommender, they will reach out to your recommender. And if they're like, who is this person? I've never heard of this student. The student did not do this, then you're not going to win that scholarship. So just be honest. And even if the scholarship's eligibility requirements are 3.5 and it's a smaller scholarship, meaning that there's not a lot of applicants, and how do you know this? You could just ask the organization on average how many applications they receive, or say if the reward is usually less than $1,000 and it's a local one, there's probably not a lot of people applying. I would still apply to that scholarship if you have a 3.3. Just send an email being honest. Hey, I'm not a good test taker. I have test anxiety, but I am doing X, Y, and Z to help improve my test taking skills. I plan to continue this in college. Like, just explain to them why your GPA is the way it is. Maybe you had a circumstance that was out of your control. You were helping out a family member and that impacted your GPA. Be honest, but don't tell yourself no before the scholarship organization has a chance to tell you no. But I would only do that on the smaller scholarships. Don't do it on the GATES. Like, if you don't have the GPA that they require, you're probably not going to win that one. But for the smaller ones, I would definitely do this. Because, for example, I knew a student who applied to a scholarship. I think it was, $200 or $300. Wasn't much. It was from their church. And their GPA wasn't perfect, but they were the only one that actually submitted a full application. Even though they did not meet the scholarship GPA requirement, their essays were still strong and they still explained their situation. And I think it was 3 $100 scholarships that the church was giving out and no one else applied. So that student got all $300. So why would you say no to $300? And the last mistake I see students make, and probably the one that hurts the most, is not applying to enough scholarships. You give up way too soon. Like, you think it's hard after applying to 20 scholarships? Well, maybe 20 is not enough. For example, I applied to 60 scholarships and I won probably 15 out of the 60. So that's like a 25% success rate. On average, I see students with about a 10% success rate. So that means if you want to win 10 scholarships, you might have to apply to 100. And that may seem impossible, but again, you have to break it down into small chunks, small doable sections, and you can do it. But just don't give up too soon. Now, don't go and apply for scholarships all willy-nilly that you don't meet the requirements for at all. Like say for example you need a 3.5 and you have a 1.8, you're probably not going to get that one. But if you're close, still apply. If you need help on how to find scholarships, go back to the beginning of this video. Follow those Instagram accounts that I was talking about. Make accounts on those scholarship websites that I was sharing. Don't give up too soon, y'all, because you could be this close. Say this is the whole entire race and this is the starting line, this is the finish. You might be right here and not even know it. You just have to keep going. Now that is it, and that is all for today's video. Again, my name is Nia, your college cash coach, helping you earn cash for, during, and after college. If you found this video helpful, be sure to give it a huge thumbs up, hit the subscribe button, and leave down any comments you have below with any questions about scholarships, going to college, making money in college. This channel is about helping you out, and I want to help you out as much as I possibly can using what I know. So I'll see y'all in the next video.